Associate Professor of Emergency Medicine and Director of COVID Response at UCSF in San Francisco, Dr. Jeanne Noble. Doctor, great to have you. You know, you were part of this Atlantic study that actually challenges the idea of mask wearing in schools. We pulled a part of that article that says 2 years into this pandemic, keeping unproven measures in place is no longer justifiable. Do me a favor, doctor, and just break down what exactly this study found that led you to believe masks are no longer effective as a safety measure in schools.
Right. So now that we've had vaccines available for so long, we thought it was time to really take a deep dive into the data that shows or does not show that masks decrease transmission when worn by children in schools. And there is not a single high-quality study that shows that this is effective. And that's really what our Atlantic piece was about. The lack of data and signaling the harm that's there. We know that kids had a very long period of social isolation when their schools were closed, and they're in a mental health crisis. The American Academy of Pediatrics and the CDC have both noted that. So getting our kids back to normal interactions in school without masks is really urgent.
So what are more ideal ways, in your opinion, that schools can keep our kids safe?
They can promote vaccination. So our vaccines are highly effective. But parents and teachers should also realize for the unvaccinated child, COVID represents a flu-like level of risk of serious illness and death. So if parents were okay sending their kids to school in previous flu seasons, they don't need to be more worried about their unvaccinated child getting COVID and the consequences from that now. But fortunately, all school-age kids have been eligible to receive that highly effective vaccine for more than 3 months now. So vaccine is the way to go, not good data on masks. And for the unvaccinated, the 6-month to 4-year-old kids who will be eligible for vaccination soon, their level is flu-like. So not to be overly worried about it.
Okay, well, this definitely makes sense to me as a parent, and that's interesting how you brought up the issue of the flu, and I think of how many times my kids got the flu prior to COVID, so that helps it register for me as a parent, that's for sure. So what's your advice then to other parents like me who, you know, I'm not against, I'm for my kids making a choice, and they are. I have twins. One has decided to wear a mask, the other one isn't. So I'm all about choice, and I'm okay about them not wearing masks. But to other parents who are on the fence, haven't made a decision, what is your advice to those who are against lifting these mandates?
I'd say the absence of a mandate does not mean you have to stop sending your kid to school in a mask. It simply means it's not a requirement. People can take it slow. People have different senses of risk, and their own risk assessment can be done in consultation with their family physician. So this just means that those who are ready to take off their masks should get to do so. And those who have really vulnerable members in their household, and I mean, you know, someone on chemotherapy, someone with an organ transplant, someone for whom the vaccine really does not have the same level of effectiveness, they may choose to upgrade their mask, and that's okay. That's a reasonable, nuanced decision. We're just saying we don't need to mask large, healthy, young populations.
So why not wait until every kid gets vaccinated? I'm just playing devil's advocate here, right? Because that's coming soon.
Right. I would say if there were no harms attached to the masking, we could wait. We could wait until the vaccines were at 100%, which would take years probably. But there are harms. You know, we have English language learners, millions of them in our California school districts alone, who are really at a significant disadvantage for having to wear masks, to not being able to read the lips of their instructors or fellow students. It impedes social and emotional development. We have a hard time, even adults, recognizing and interpreting complex facial expressions when half of our faces are covered. We really need to get our kids back to normal urgently. And that's the push for now, and to not wait any further.
So then parents might be saying, okay, what are the harms related to wearing masks?
Yeah, we have seen a decrease in our educational attainment in kids. Both reading comprehension, kids who suffer from speech challenges are further behind. We have this mental health crisis that I alluded to, and we know that this is interfering with social and emotional connections. We have accumulating data and studies on that. So it hurts academic development, educational attainment. It hinders social and emotional development. And when we need to put our kids on a road to recovery because they have been, really under stress for the last few years, to wait any longer just doesn't make sense.
Dr. Jeanne Noble, so glad to have you with us, really. I mean, this conversation was terrific. You really, you beat through a lot of the myths and just were very transparent about the research and what you've learned. Appreciate you very much.
Thanks so much for having me.